So the weather is with me today, so I can dye fabric. So I will be making a Jawa that a friend asked me to make. For those of you who are interested, you can kind of follow along and see what you would need to actually make a Jawa that is approvable for both Rebel Legion and 501st. So here we go. In terms of material, you need basically 19 inches of cotton fabric, and the thicker the better. This, I believe, is Kona cotton. Literally 19 inches is all you need. You will need corset boning. This is plastic corset boning I got at Joann's. I think it's a little over a yard. This is going to be put in the hood so that it has that nice round shape, and it will hold, and it is machine washable. And then the big thing you're going to need is monk's cloth. You can see right here the nice detail on the weave, and this stuff shrinks like crazy when you dye it, which of course you're going to need to do, so you're going to want to get more fabric than you think you need. So this is actually 6 yards of fabric. In general, those are the measurements that you'll need. They're very basic. You need to know how wide across your shoulders are. You need to know from your shoulder to your knuckle so that you have the correct length sleeves, chest and waist, and obviously length as well. Neck, kind of, I mean, it's important, but you don't really need it. But so for the person that I'm making, those are the only measurements I need, and based on this, I bought 6 yards of fabric because length is the most important part. So here I am. I'm going to actually measure how to cut this fabric. Fortunately or unfortunately, Jawas and Star Wars do not have shoulder seams, and it's pretty much impossible to make that accurately without a lot of fabric. So again, this is 6 yards of monk's cloth that I purchased at Joann's on big sale. And I'm going to actually unroll it. And as I saw from my measurements, my person wants it to be 52 inches long. So what I'm going to have to do is measure 52 inches in length and then fold it in half. So I'll do that right now. And I'm actually going to go a little bit over that because the fabric does shrink when it is put in boiling water. And to dye it, we do need to put it in boiling water. So allowing for shrinkage, I'm actually going to make this 54 inches instead of 52. So right here is 52. And now I have the proper length going this way so that I can alleviate that seam. And now all I'm going to do is fold this so that it is the proper length. So once you've folded your fabric, you basically need to find the very middle because that's going to be where your neckline is. So I've measured that from shoulder to shoulder. The person that I'm making the Jawa for is 20 inches. So I've allowed 20 inches here. And then I've roughly estimated where the neckline will be. I'll probably make it a bit smaller than that, but that's with seam allowance. Once you have that done, you go to the end of where the shoulder would be, and you're going to cut down literally 17 inches to create where the sleeve will be. So basically, once you have your markings, it's pretty simple. What you're going to do is cut straight down to where the sleeve would go, and then angle out towards the bottom of your hem all the way down. And now to match the other side before you cut it, all you need to do is take the side you already cut and fold it over at the halfway point, and then you would just match accordingly. So once you have your robe all cut out, you're now going to need to cut out sleeves. Again, the idea is not to have any visible seams, so your sleeves also cannot have a seam. This is another reason why we have such a large amount of fabric purchased, because you're going to have to cut sleeves on the fold like here. The person this is for, the sleeve needs to be 24 inches long and 17 inches going down. So I measured 24, but I also allowed for salvage and just the general fray. Again, this fabric frays incredibly easily. And now I'm going to cut basically a bell shape. So I will cut down 17 inches to here and then angle down to create the bell sleeve. And once you are done, your sleeve should look like this. So what will happen is the sleeves will be attached at the seam, and the only seam that will be there will be under the arm and not visible, since we cut our sleeve on the fold. So we're down to our last pieces of fabric, and basically all we need now is our hood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from here down 17 inches, and then I'm going to cut across 19 inches. Again, you want to cut on the fold so that there is no visible seam on the hood. You're going to cut one of the monk's cloth and then one of the black cotton for the hood. So once both your outer hood and inner hood fabric is cut, you are pretty much done. You are left with a pretty decent amount, and this will be used for your scarf as well as the wrappings for the Jawa boots. So now let's put it together. Okay, so once you have your hood sewn with the seam down the center as well as the outer fabric, what you're going to do is match the seams that you just sewed to the lining. And you want to do it good side to good side, good to good, basically. And now I'm going to flip it so the lining is on top and I can actually stitch it together. You want to get the seam matched as close as possible to the other one that you stitched. And here you can see one seam is matching with the other. And then what I'm going to do is pin it all the way around so that it stays in place as I sew. So here is the lining pinned to the hood, and what you'll notice is I left a little bit of an opening at the back of the hood so that I can flip it out and make it all nice and pretty. And you can always test the size before you cut it to make sure that it fits, and in this case it has the proper angle and will close accurately once it's all put together. You can see it's already fraying, so keep that in mind when you put it together. Okay, so now that your hood is ready to go, unlined, you're going to want to insert the corset boning. So what you do is you start on one end. So in this case, I'll start here. Take your boning. You're going to place it right here and then fold the fabric over it to conceal it. You're then going to pin it in place and basically do that all the way around. And the reason I dye it how I do is because then you get these nice, almost lighter spots on the fabric that really look great with weathering. And these will be wraps for the boots and the scarf. So you can use a tire bottle and basically dye the entire costume in one fell swoop.